And we're on our first sentence, so we're going to go ahead and get started now. So we see here that our first sentence contains a hyphenated word, right? So remember, whenever we have a hyphenated word, we're going to kind of we're going to do both words fairly quickly close together. So our first part of our hyphenated word is what? It's key, right? We have a cough. We have a cough pointed kiri kyod. So k and e, key. All right. And then we have, what's the second part? Vo, right? We have a vate. And we know it's a vate because it doesn't have a dagesh inside. And it's pointed cholemwa. So v, o, vo. So let's say here, kibo. All right, kibo. All right, so what about our second word? All right, so we have a yud pointed kirik, so like the two e's in the word teen or green. So y, e, yi. Then we have the letter sin, right? Because the indicator is on the left-hand side. So it's going to sound like an S. Kirik is a short duration vowel point. So we know that this shva is going to be silent. So it's going to close the syllable. And our first syllable is y, is, yis. Okay, yis. Then we have the letter mem, and it's pointed patak, short duration A, with a het at the end. M, ach, mach. All right, yismach. Yismach. All right, so we have kivo yismach. Okay, what's our next word here? All right, so we have a lamed, so L sound, kirik, short duration I type vowel, right? We've got a bait, okay? Got a bait here, and it's got a dagesh inside. So we know that bait is a beged kafat letter because it went from being a V sound to a B sound with the addition of the dagesh. But we're also going to double this because we're following another vowel point. Okay. So this first syllable, instead of being li, is going to be lib. Then we pick up the second B sound, second bait, and we've got a tsere here, long duration E type vowel. So be. So libe. Then we have a nun followed by a wa pointed shuruk. Nu. Nu. So libenu. All right, libenu. Libenu. So, kivo yismach libenu. What's our next word here? What's our next word? Key, just like it was at the beginning of the sentence, right? We have a kaf, pointed kiri kyod, k, e, key. All right, key. All right, so what about our next word here? We have a letter vate, and it's pointed with a shva. So we're at the beginning of a word. So what type of shva is it? That's right. It's a vocal shva. So we'll have a V sound with a quick E. All right, the. All right, so we have the vate pointed vocal shiva. Ve. Then we know that we have a shin here because the indicator's on the right hand side. So we know it's going to be SH with sere. All right. So like a long duration E type vowel with a mem sophie. See how it's square on the bottom and it's at the end of a word? So this is mem sophie. So we have ve, sh, em, veshem. All right. Veshem. Veshem. All right. So what's the next word here? Okay. So we have the kuf, and it's pointed with kamatz, long duration A type vowel, right? So that's ka, ka. Then we have a dalet here, and it's pointed with shva. So since we're following a long duration vowel point, we know that this shva is going to be vocal and sound like an E. So that's d, de. But then look, we have either a sheen or a seen. And the reason why is we know that there's no such thing as a vowel point that goes over the right side of a letter. So that must be the indicator letting us know that this over here is cholemwa. So sh, o, sho. So we have ka, de sho. All right, ka de sho. All right, ka de sho. All righty, ka de sho. All right, and then the last word in our sentence, we have the letter vate, and it's pointed with kamatz, right? So what sound do we have here? Va, okay? Then we have the letter tet, and it's pointed kamatz, and we know it's kamatz because of the meteg next to it, right? So we've got that straight up and down line next to that T-shaped vowel point that lets us know that we're going to pronounce that as an A. So how would we pronounce this syllable? Ta. And then we have the letter chet, and it has a shva here. So that's a vocal shva because we're following a long duration vowel point. Okay, so che. Then we have the nun followed by wa pointed shuruk, n, u, nu. All right, so we have ba, ta, chenu. Okay, ba, ta, chenu. Okay, va, ta, chenu. All right, so we have transliterated our sentence, right? We have transliterated it. So let's read it together. We have kivo. Now remember, like I said, this is a hyphenated word. So we're going to take both of those words and kind of jam them together. Okay? So kivo, yismach, libenu, ki, veshem, kadesho, vatachenu. All right, let's do it again. Kivo, yismach, libenu, ki, veshem, kadesho, vatachenu. Okay. So ki, what does ki mean? It means for, that, or because. So a lot of times, since we get most of us are very familiar with the King James, we have a tendency to translate that as for. Okay, but it means the same thing because of, or as a result of, or something's going to come out of this action. So we have for, and then we have the word vo. So what are we saying here? Nope. Well, that's part of it. The in is part of it. So if you're breaking this two-letter word apart, okay, so look at it as but oh, okay. The bait or the vate being used as a prefix meaning in, and then the o sound on the in, his. So for in his, okay, for in his, all right, or in him, you could say. What's our next word? Yismach. Okay, so the yud can be used as a prefix meaning will. So what does that leave you for as a root word? All right, samach, right? Samach, which means what? What does samach mean? What's a root? It's a root word. What does it mean? To rejoice. You said sameach, right? All right. So rejoice. All right. For in him will rejoice. Then we have libenu. So, okay. So the word lev means heart, right? And then that nu on the end means us or our. So, for in him will rejoice our hearts. Okay. Or if we were to put it in grammar for us, we would say, for our hearts shall rejoice in him. Okay. Our hearts will rejoice in him. All right. So then we have ki again, right? For or as a result or because. Then we have veshem. So what does that mean? In name. Okay. For in name, what about kadisho? Okay, so O at the end means his or him. So Kadash, right? To be holy. Or, it's the same word. But to be holy or to be set apart, right? All right. So for in name, set apart his. So that would be what? For in his holy name, then we have Vatachenu. All right. So, nope, nope, nope. Because you got this new on the end. Our what? Or we. Okay. So what does it leave us for a root word here? Batach. All right. Batach. That's the word that we use to denote trust or reliance. We trust. Okay. Batachenu. All right. We are trusting. We are relying. All right. So what we have here is Psalm 33 and 21. For our hearts will rejoice in him. Right? For that or because. All right. So key, because. Right? In name. All right. Kadesho. Right? In his holy name. Batachenu. We have trusted. All right. 33 and 21. For our hearts shall rejoice in him because we have trusted in his holy name. All right. So our translation is pretty good with what they got, what the King James has on that. All right. So any questions on this sentence? You good, Brother Mike? All right, cool. All right. So Psalm 33 and 21. All right, good stuff. So let's go ahead and we'll move on to our second sentence here. I'm going to close this chat so I have my full screen. All right, let's move on. to our next sentence here. All right, so let me get my box put up over here. So it takes me a little bit to remember to put this crazy thing up. Yeah, that's true. I could. I could have done that. You're right. Uh, so let's go with our next sentence here. So we have an aleph here, and it's pointed patach with what behind it? What is that? Chaf sofit, right. So it's like a K sound or a KH sound, right? But we know that it's changed its shape because it's hanging down below the line here. So how would we translate this word? Ah, very good. Ah, oops. What about it? The mic was messing up because I had it in my hand and I was putting pressure on it. So that's what yeah, I was aware of. Okay, so let's see here. Let me get my little box made out here. All right. So the first word that we have over there is the Scottish word, ach. All right, ach. All right, what's our next word here? All right, we have the tzadi, pointed patach, sa. Then we have a dalet here, and it's got a dagesh inside. So is dalet a beged kafat letter? Yes, it is. But since we have another vowel point in front of it, we can double it. So this first syllable goes from being tza to tzad. Then we're going to pick up the second dalet and the kirik yod. Dik, tzadik, or tzadi, right? And then we have this kuf, and it's pointed kirik yod with mem sofit. Kim. So tzadikim. Tzadikim. All right. What about the next word here? Yo, do. All right, so we have a yud pointed cholem wa y o yo. Then we have a dalet followed by a wa pointed shuruk. Do. So yeah, that's it. Yo do. All right. Ach sadekim yo do. All right. What's our next word here? What's our next word here? We have a lamed here pointed kirik, right? Followed by a shin pointed with silent shabbat. So we're going to close the syllable. So how do we pronounce this syllable? Leash, like what you walk the dog on, leash. Then we have a mem here, and it's pointed with a sagol, which is a short duration E-type vowel, right? Meh, meh. And then we have half sofit pointed kamatz, cha. So we have lishmecha. All right, lishmecha. That's the guy who makes the leashes for the animals in the village. He's the lishmecha. Like you guys signed up for this, okay? I'm not gonna. All right. So, what's our next word here? All right, so we have a yud pointed sere, so yeah. Then we have a sheen here, and it's pointed vocal shiva because we're following a long duration vowel point. Le, she. Then we have a veit followed by a wa pointed shru. Vu. All right, so yeshevu. All right, yeshevu. What's our next word here? We have a yud pointed vocal shva because at the beginning of a word, yeah. Then we have the letter shin pointed kamatz, sha. Then we have a resh pointed kiri yod with mem sofit, r, im. So ye sharim, right? All right, yesharim. All right, and then we have this guy, this last word, this last hyphenated word. Okay, so what do we have? I wish I could get that thing to disappear. Ah, there we go. So we have the aleph pointed segol with the top behind it. It, and then we have a hyphen here. And then we have the letter pay. You know what's pay because it's got a dagesh inside. This is a big kafat letter, so it's going to change its sound to a P, and it's pointed with kamatz, fa. Then we have a nun pointed segol with yud, ne. This is like N-E-I, okay, ne. Then we have chaf sofit pointed kamatz, cha. So et panecha, all right? Et panecha. Not in this case. Not in this case. I know we know what it means in this case. No, no. All right. So we've translated it. So or we've transliterated it. So let's read it together a couple of times. We have Ach tzadikim yodu lishmecha yeshevu yesharim et panecha. All right, let's do it again. Ach tzadikim yodu lishmecha yeshevu yesharim et panecha. All right, the word ach. So it's being used in the beginning here, right? It's kind of like an exclamation. It's an interjection. No, it is not. When it is like it is what this is. It's an expression. It's like surely, without a doubt. Okay. So we have surely or without a doubt or undoubtedly. Okay. What about sadikim? Well, the righteous. Okay. Tzaddik, to be righteous. Tzaddikim, righteous ones. Okay. So surely righteous ones. Then we have the word yodu. So what do we have there? Okay. Right. It's a shortened form of the word yada, actually. No. That's yada. This is yada. That's why I'm always getting on everybody about pronunciation because it does make a difference. So the U on the end here, they, because who's the they we're talking about? The tzaddik, right? The tzaddikim, the righteous ones. Okay. Will something, they, right? This is being kind of pulling double duty here, but it's a shortened form of the word yada, which means to revere or to worship with your hands extended. Okay. So surely the righteous ones will what? They will give thanks, they will revere, they will worship, right? Then we have lishmecha, which means what? The lamed in the beginning tells us what? To, and then shmecha. That would be simcha. This is shemecha. All right, listen, it's an SH, not an S. Okay. Shem, cha, name, your. All right. So they will lift their hands. How? To your name. Okay. And it makes sense because they are righteous ones. Okay. So surely the righteous ones will lift their hands to your name. All right. What about yeshevu? Okay. So the u at the end is telling us they again. And it is tempting to use this yud as a prefix. But what we have here is the word yashav. Now, what does yashav mean? Does anybody remember that? No, sir. That would be Yeshua. Or Yasha is to save. Okay. This is yeshev. The root word is yashav. All right. Which means to live, to inherit, to dwell. Okay. So they're going to raise their hands to his name. They are going to dwell or inherit. All right. So who is the they? That's the next people that we're talking about. These guys here. All right. Yesharim. Who are these? The upright. Very good. Okay. All right. So the upright are going to do what? They're going to dwell. And the upright and the tzaddikim, they're the same folks, right? Because you can't be upright without being righteous. You can't be righteous without being upright. They're the same people, okay? So we know that surely the righteous will raise their hands and worship to your name, all right? They will dwell. Who are they? The Yesharim, the upright. So the upright will dwell et panecha. So remember, the et also has a grammatical function that points in the direction of something particular. Okay? And in this case, it is pointing to the place where they are going to dwell. So we have the word panecha, pan, right? Fane, face, all right? Masculine infix of cha, you. All right. So they're going to dwell before his face or in his presence. So isn't that exciting to know that the upright are going to dwell in his presence? Okay. So what we have here is Psalm 140 and 13. And it's translated as surely the righteous will give thanks unto your name. So giving thanks, hodu, yada, their conjugations here. Hodu itself is thanks, but yada is the action tied to it. Okay. It's 140 and 13. Now, that's okay. I'm just letting you know. All right. 140 and 13. So the righteous are going to give thanks to his name, and the upright will dwell in his presence. Okay. So they're going to dwell before his face. But like I said, I think what's important to realize, we're not talking about two separate groups of people here, because you cannot be righteous without being upright, and you cannot be upright without being righteous. Correct? Yeah, you can't, it's like the song says, are you balanced? Or are you going to lean to one side, right? What are you going to do? So in order to in order to do that, you got to be both of them things, right? Not just paying lip service or nothing. But anyway, so yeah, Psalm 33:21 and Psalm 140 and 13. So I'm going to go ahead and call it on that, because we're going to get back over to the other side and go ahead and close out. But we want you to know that we love you and we appreciate you.